Today on the channel from AEW Unrivaled Series 14, we got a first-timer in the line with Keith Lee.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another AEW Unrivaled Series 14 unboxing and review. And today on the channel, first time in the line, Keith Lee. But for all your Keith Lee needs and a whole lot more, make sure you end up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Got to get a deal out there. And Keith Lee making his first appearance in the AEW Jazzwares line. Feels like it took a long time. Feels like Keith Lee's momentum has really been on the downwards trend, I think, in his wrestling career right now. I would say the height of his career had to have been around Survivor Series 2019. I think that was the date. What is time? Was it 18? Was it 19? It was in Chicago. I was there in like the second, third row for Raw, SmackDown, Survivor Series, and NXT War Games. I was right there taking it all in. My daughter, she was like 6 years old or 8 years old maybe at the time. What is time? But she was all into it as well. So it was a magical wrestling weekend for me. That's no doubt about it. But Keith Lee was at the height of that time. That was when the NXT roster kind of came onto the WWE roster a little bit, and they had all the brands at that Survivor Series. 1918, it was something like that. But that was really the height of Keith Lee's career, I really did think. He did go over to, of course, AEW, where he is currently here, and just ups and downs and starts and stops. Just kind of feels like where it is, and it feels like this figure's just a little bit late to the party. Who knows? Things could change in the next couple of months. Maybe Keith Lee will get the ball back on track. We'll see him on TV regularly every single week, and it'll make a lot of sense then. So we'll see what happens there. But one thing we know it'll happen for sure is how we're going to do this review. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. So without further ado, see what old Keith Lee's up to there. And there he is, looking only like a Keith Lee could ever look in an AEW packaging. Now, we did get Mattel figures in the past. We'll bring those out later in this video, so stay tuned for that. The black and gold attack in the packaging, big bubble window. Look at that. Keith looking only like a Keith Lee could look once again. On the side, he is number 125 in the Unrivaled line, of course, Series 14. Got the little S down here. This does spell out scissors if you line the boxes all up, as we do know. Then on the back, we get the glamour shot, we get the cross sell, we get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Let's see what it says back here for old Keith Lee. From All Out, 9/4/2022, Chicago, Illinois. That's where that NXT and the War Games and all that was going down. Never forget. Chicago, beautiful this time of year. I'll be there in a couple more weeks. Hopefully I can get a Pequod's Pizza. If not, I'm going to go visit old good friend of the channel, Rick Nielsen of Cheap Trick fame over at Peace Pizzeria. Shout out to Rick. Shout out to Pizza. Shout out to Chicago. There it is. Series 14, Tony Storm, Swerve Strickland, Ricky Starks, Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, Billy Gunn, of course, Keith Lee and Billy Gunn, Chase Rare Editions in this set. So this is the regular Keith Lee, as you guys probably know. There's no sticker or anything like that. But we're going to get old Keith Lee out of the package here. We're going to see what all the fuss is about. See you later, goodbye. And like I said, not a lot of fuss. Not a lot of fuss. See you later, goodbye. There he is, old Keith Lee. One thing I do like about a guy like Keith Lee, though, especially in the Jazzwares line. Oh, Keith Lee. Oh, my gosh, he's dead. Murdered right here at the table. But one thing, there we go, see you later. One thing I do like about the idea of Keith Lee in this line is he is a big dude. It's time to get some bigger figures, and there's not a lot of big guys in AEW. They got a few different guys, the Hobbs of the world, the Keith Lees of the world, Wardlow's kind of, but most of even their big guys are smaller guys in other years and other territories, other federations like WWE and things like that. So they don't have the biggest dudes over there in AEW. Size isn't everything. It's not. It depends who you ask, I guess, at the end of the day. But Keith Lee is a bigger dude, and it's fun to get a bigger dude in the mix of our AEW figures. So I do like this straight off the bat because it feels different, it looks different, and you need things different. If you have just a land of little guys, which AEW really does, you get a guy like Wardlow that's maybe 6'3", 260, 70, whatever. He feels like he's Andre the Giant, and it just one of those things kind of plays with your mind a little bit. But Keith Lee is a big dude, there's no doubt about it, and possibly the biggest AEW figure so far. We'll have to see on that. But he does get accessories. He's got 2 fists of powerful fury right out of the package. I'm here for that. And then you got 2 gripping hands over here. Choose your own hand adventure. Of course, you get the Chase Rare Edition. You mix up the hands. Once again, make them feel as different as you possibly can. But now we get old Keith Lee looking only like a Keith Lee could look. And interesting, he's got the black hair, black beard. Keith Lee's talked in interviews before. He went like totally gray like in his 20s, and he's always dyed his hair. We even saw that in AEW where he let it all go and kind of looked like he was going on full Gandalf is what he was trying to do. Then he's going back to the black hair, so I think he just can't make up his mind what his hair color wants to be. But here we're representing all black. We're actually representing the black and pink attack like a young Heart Foundation out there. He truly is limitless, and I know for sure because it's on the back of his jacket here, so I knew that for sure. And then you got that Keith Lee pose in the middle up here in the front of his vest, I guess. You do got two elbow pads. Let's say, are they bicep pads or two elbow pads? Two wrist tapes going on as well. Two Fist of Fury, which we did mention. But it looks like Keith Lee in the head sculpt if you're looking at him with the dark hair instead of the gray hair. But it looks like Keith Lee enough for me. A little bit sleepy looking and a little bit frowny. He's not a happy, jolly Keith Lee, that's for sure. But it does look like Keith Lee. And now this vest should come out just Polly Pocket style. Sometimes hard to get back in, hard to go back on. But I'm going to pull it out right now. There we go. Take that jacket off, see what all the fuss is about. And once again, like I said, it feels different than AEW figures because he's got a big man's body. We're used to the little guys, the Ricky Starks of the world. It's nice to get something different. This feels very different from the Jazzwares line. I'm here for that. You got Keith Lee on the back of the tights. He's limitless on the side. And then you got a little logo on this side. Two big black knee pads going on, black boots as well. Arms go all the way around for us. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbows on Keith Lee here. Hands back and forth, side to side. Hula hoop at the top. A little bit of waist articulation there. Of course, those big old Keith Lee Texas splits. Legs go up. Big thigh cut. Double jointed knees. Boot cut. Ankles back, forth, up and down, side to side. All the usual articulation. Does he fit on a ringside collectible stand? Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10% on your AEW stands over at Ringside Collectibles. What do you know? Fits perfectly on a stand right there. Is it the greatest figure? No, but it is very nice to have something different. That's kind of the theme of this review. It feels different, and sometimes we want things to feel a little bit different because we're sick of seeing everything kind of the same. It all blends together. This stands out being different, and different is a good thing in this circumstance right here. For old Keith Lee, first time in the line, last time in the line. Guess we'll have to stay tuned to see if that is a possibility or not. We're not done with Keith Lee. We got more Keith Lee figures from Mattel, of course. We got his first Elite figure, and once again, he was the regular and Chase edition in the Elite figure, so that was pretty interesting there. A lot of people thought it was the same figure. It is different gear from the last ones here on this one, but looks very cool, but a lot of people think the Chase is also the same as this. It is different, so there is some differences between those two for those keeping track at home. Of course, I also have his first ever basic figure, and what I actually did is took the vest off this one, and I put it on his basic just to kind of drum up this basic a little bit here. But that basic was a pretty big basic at the time. A lot of people were pretty excited about that one. And then, of course, in Series 14 as well, when this set was put together, these two were a tag team. We remember their tag team title win, their breakup, their lost their titles, their feud, all that kind of stuff. You got a little Swerve Keith Lee action together here in Unrivaled 14. So there it is, Keith Lee, big Keith Lee, one of the biggest figures, really the biggest figure so far in the Unrivaled and Unmatched line after all. Hopefully we see more big dudes. I guess AEW's just got to get more big dudes on the roster. But give me more Luchasauruses. Give me the kill switch. I'm here for that all day long. Give me some more Luchasaurus figures. He's my favorite. There you go. But Keith Lee, looking good. What are your guys' thoughts though? Is this a Keith Lee, a pickup for you? You good with your Mattel, or you just don't need Keith Lee in your collection? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bells. We got videos every single day. And then some. We got even more content for you on Patreon. Patreon, the best way to support this very YouTube channel. You can also go to Amazon right now, and very soon, Barnes & Noble. Pick up my book, The Complete Guide to the Jakks Classic Superstars, by yours truly. A passion project, a labor of love, almost 700 pages on the Jakks Classic Superstars line, the forerunner of this in some ways. So check out this book if it does interest you. Thank you for all the support over there. And of course, don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for Keith Lee, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.